guys! Makakasama natin today a fellow mommy, an entrepreneur, tulad ko, vlogger din, pero medyo matagal na yata siya nag-start mag-vlog. Please welcome Miss Anya Santos-uy.
Hello, Tina.
Hi, Anya!
Good to see you again after what?
Wait,
Maybe 2 years?
that was February
Yes.
2019.
Exactly.
Talaga ni-research ko, kailan ba yun?
Almost 2 years.
Yes, February. Ang tagal na din, no?
Diba? 2 buwan na lang. Do we tell them how we know each other?
Yeah, go!
O paano ba?
It was the Jose Rizal University 100 year celebration sa Araneta Coliseum, right?
That's right. And I was your VO and you were my writer.
Yes. And how I miss doing events. Kasi ngayong pandemic, diba? Wala.
True. Nakaka-miss yung excitement. Yung mga nakikita natin on stage and backstage.
Yes.
Diba? Remember that?
Yes. And everything's online. Parang may nawawala pag walang audience. Pag hindi ka maka-interact, parang iba siya.
True, and but at the same time, I find that going online also has its advantages.
Yes.
Kasi more people are able to attend these webinars, these talks. Parang you actually reach more people and you cross borders, in fact. So that's one advantage of this whole situation.
But people like us, ako, laking adjustment. Kailangan kong matutunan everything technically. Kasi if not, hindi ka makakasabay. And sa aspeto din ng, ang tawag mo doon, kabuhayan, isa kasi ang mga nasa events ang naapektuhan nitong pandemic. So, sad yun. Pero if we can find a way to do things like this, parang do interviews, webinars, launches na Zoom lang ang gamit, at least makakasurvive.
Absolutely. Actually, I was a little fortunate because I've been, so as a voice talent, as one of the things I do, I've been actually recording from home for many years now, over 10 years. So parang it was an advantage that I had recording equipment at home and that I've been doing that. Na actually, you email me a script and I email it back. So parang, yeah, it was very advantageous for these times.
Yes. Okay, first of all, you wanna introduce yourself dun sa mga nanonood sa atin para malaman nila naman yung background mo.
Okay, so marami po akong ginagawa. I'm primarily a voice talent. I mean, aside of course from being a mother and a wife, I'm also an entrepreneur. Or maybe, I don't know, entrepreneur sounds so serious. Parang makaraketera. Or I like to follow, things that I love to do. So yun, so part na yun, yung pagiging voice-over talent. I love it. I love doing it. And aside from that, my husband and I run a co-working space together. It's called O2 Space. Medyo apektado kami ng pandemya. But slowly, people seem to be coming back because, work from home is not for everyone. So kahit ako, like once a week, I have to come to the office to get stuff done kasi hindi talaga ako makatrabaho sa bahay kasi maya't maya may gagawin ka, di ba? Kasi I have no yaya at the moment and I still have a 3-year-old kid. I have an 8-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl. So, medyo mahirap to get things done na walang yaya when you're doing other things. So once or twice a week, I come here to O2 Space, our co-working space, to get things done. Kasi at least, like for example, with my daughter, we're potty training her. So maya't maya, oops, I have to go, to the potty. Or ay magluluto na, oh no, snack break na ng anak ko. Ano nga ba yung kakainin niya? Mga ganyan. So ang daming hindi ka talaga matatapos. You can't get your job done kasi ang daming singit-singit. Which is naman, I mean, of course, it's motherhood. I mean, it's part of our life. So tanggap na natin yon. But I do need my sanity break here at O2 Space. So we run a co-working space. What else? I have a little online store.
Yes.
called Goods and Grains, and we
Oh,
sell mga health products naman. Not naman
okay.
products, but like just healthier alternatives to what we're used to. So, for example, I don't know if you've heard of adlai.
The rice?
Yes, it's like a
Okay.
rice alternative that's low
Okay.
glycemic index and it's mas
Mhm.
nakakabusog. So I sell adlay, mga chia
Mhm.
seeds, nutritional yeast,
Mhm.
mga cacao nibs, cocoa sugar, mga ganyan. And
Mhm.
also mga sustainable products like menstrual cloth pads,
Oh,
gano'n. So
okay.
medyo may parang environmental na tema, parang
Mhm.
gano'n. And aside from that, as you would know, I recently self-published a
Mhm.
children's book, a children's
Mhm.
alphabet book called ALPABETO
Okay.
ng Kalikasan. So, yeah, medyo marami akong ginagawa.
Okay. Question, saan nanggagaling yung mga products mo?
Okay,
Straight
so
from the farmers? Ganyan?
as much as possible, yeah, like for example, for some of my products, so for the adlai specifically, and also rice when I have it, I do go straight to the farm.
Okay.
Okay, and then like for example, for my cloth pads, I have a supplier who really sews it themselves sa Bulacan naman. As much as possible, I try to source local. Of course, there are stuff that are not available yet. I mean, like that I believe in. Kasi parang as much as possible sa goods and grains, no, these are products that I've actually tried myself. So that
Mhm.
I can more effectively sell it. You know, that's the principle behind it. And actually, it started out as a hobby kasi parang
Mhm.
gusto ko lang bumili ng wholesale price. So, I buy
Okay.
in bulk and try to sell. But because of the pandemic, parang I have to level up my game, you know, and
Mhm.
reach more people rather than just the traffic that we have at O2. Kasi my shelves, my
Mhm.
store is here at O2 Space here in
Okay.
Makati. So
Mhm.
dati, meron akong traffic.
Mhm.
But because nga everyone's work from home, there's not many people coming, medyo bumaba ang sales, syempre. So I
So,
had to turn
kailangan mo
to
na mag-resort online.
online. Yeah, so I'm trying to build pa my website, no?
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I'm working on it and I'm learning kasi parang retail is not my specialty. All of a
Yeah.
sudden, tita, needs to learn all these things, diba? Like I have to
Mhm.
learn how to do the back end of the website. So I'm learning.
Mm.
So I don't want to
Yeah.
launch it yet until I know how to troubleshoot and this and that. So, yun.
Dapat pala nag-interview ako before pa because my daughter ordered this cloth pads from
Oh,
China pa. Dapat
oh
pala nag-buy
wow.
local na lang ako. Hindi ko
True.
naman alam.
Marami namang, well, actually, those are one of the things that kaya hindi ako mabili online na dun sa popular sites, no?
Mhm.
Kasi parang me, I'm still kind of old school. I wanna see, I wanna touch. And so like before I settled on this supplier, I really tried it myself first.
Mhm.
So like the stuff that I sell on our site, it's really I tried it. And if I'm happy with it, I will sell it. And parang it's a big part na parang it comes locally. It's from, you know,
Mhm.
like I had a supplier before and then I found out, wow, galing pa palang Visayas. I mean, local is fine and Visayas is, pero sabi ko, ang laki ng footprint, di ba, na parang to ship it pa all the way here. So yun, I
Yeah.
was able to find a supplier that was closer.
Okay. Pero your kids, yung two
Yes.
kids mo, homeschooled?
No, my son is 8 years old. He goes to a Montessori here in Makati. And they've transitioned, like, nung nangyari ang ECQ, patapos pa lang sila. They had a few more weeks of school kasi they start in August and end in May.
Okay.
So by April, yeah, because it happened mid-March, di ba?
Yeah.
So by I think we had online classes maybe a week or two after the ECQ was established, just to finish the
Mhm.
school year. So he's now
Mhm.
in third grade and
Mhm.
he's
And
adjusting quite well.
blended learning.
Well, it's okay. It's a Montessori school, so it's very, you know, we don't have homework, we don't have
Oh.
grades, we don't have exams. So it's kind of like my style of parenting as well. Parang
Mhm.
hindi ako, as a parent, hindi ako bagay sa traditional,
Okay.
you know. And yeah, and I realized my own high school pala, where I went to school, pala wasn't very traditional either because we didn't have homework either.
Mhm.
So, so I mean, I love my son's school kasi nga parang he's very independent. He does everything himself. Like even before 8 a.m. when classes start, he'll do everything himself. He'll get himself
Mhm.
online. He knows how to do everything. And yeah, I mean, we're there to help him when he needs it. But otherwise, medyo, yeah, he does things on his own. So I'm very happy with that.
Na-ask ko lang kasi 'di ba, lately parang ang daming mga parents na nagrereklamo
Yes. Na
on
parang
blended
sila
learning.
yung parang sila yung nagsuschool.
Hmm.
And a lot
Kaya
is expected of the parent, 'di ba? Na
yes.
parang ikaw yung teacher, ikaw yung lahat, ikaw yung
Mm,
ganyan.
mm.
So, yun, those are times that I'm very, very thankful for my son's school.
Sobrang lucky mo naman. Kasi at least
Yeah.
gano'n na yung ano niya, yung background niya. So hindi
Yes,
na siya
yes.
nahirapan.
Yes, this is his third year in that school. So he entered at first grade. So yeah, and my little one, she just turned 3.
Mhm.
So we were going to start school na sana next year, pero we don't know yet what's gonna happen. But since we're mostly home anyway, you know, yeah, ako na lang ang bahala sa kanya
Ikaw
for
na
her
lang.
first year of school.
Okay. So let's talk about the book. Paano mo siya na-conceptualize?
Okay, so the book is Alpabeto ng Kalikasan. All right. So
Color.
actually, this book, if you strictly speaking, no, I would
Mhm.
say this book is mga what, for 15 years in the making. You know what I mean? Something like
Wow.
that. Kasi I used to work with Haribon Foundation.
Okay.
Okay, this was way back in 2004. And when I joined them, I mean, I thought na I was pretty educated about the environment. Pero when I worked there, parang ang dami kong hindi alam tungkol sa Pilipinas. At
Mhm.
kung gaano siya kayaman in terms of
Okay.
Philippine biodiversity. Like for example, Tina, ikaw, alam mo ang national bird?
Oh my God.
Go.
Eagle ba?
Yes. The Philippine eagle. Nung panahon
Okay.
natin, Maya, di ba?
Uh-huh. Okay, got it.
But then it became under FVR, it became the Philippine eagle, and rightfully
Mhm.
so. Do you know why? Parang it is rightfully the national bird?
Why?
It's actually the largest eagle in the world.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
Okay.
And I didn't know this until I worked at Haribon.
Mhm.
And things like that. So madami akong natuklasan doon while I was working there. And because I was in charge of membership, the membership department.
Okay.
And that was part of my mission, so to speak, to recruit people and let them know how rich Philippine biodiversity really is. And
Mhm.
yeah, so during my stay there, parang, what I did as a membership officer was to recruit by exposing people to the environment. So we had different activities. We had mountain climbing, hiking, we had intro dives, we had snorkeling, we had bird
Mhm.
watching. So para mamulat ang mga tao talaga sa ganda ng Pilipinas and all
Mhm.
the riches it has to offer. Kasi when you know something,
Mhm.
that's when you want to protect it. Diba?
Yeah.
That's when you want to protect it. That's where you want to save it.
Mhm.
So parang that had always been brewing in my head. How do we make more people know about this? Especially after I stopped working at Haribon Foundation. Parang, how do we do this, right?
Mhm.
And then fast forward in 2012, I
Mm.
became a mother.
Yes.
And parang, di ba, I mean, I'm sure your children were the same, na parang at a very young age, like less than 1 year old, they can already point to lion, tiger, bear, di
Yeah.
ba?
Mhm.
Giraffe, uh, hippo, rhino,
Yeah.
di ba?
Yes.
Kahit point lang, even if they don't speak yet, they can
Mhm.
point to it, right?
Mhm.
And it's
Yes.
amazing. And so a part of my Haribon heart felt a little guilty na parang, oh, bakit alam niya na yung elephant, giraffe, ganyan lahat. Lahat ng mga safari animals, lahat ng Australian animals, koala, kangaroo, di ba?
Oo.
Pero bakit hindi Philippine eagle? Bakit hindi butanding? Bakit hindi dugong or tarsier or tamaraw?
Tama.
So that had always been a nagging question. Parang, paano ba? Paano natin gagawin? So I tried looking for, the first realization was that the reason they know this is because it's everywhere. Nasa bib, di ba? Nasa diaper bag, nasa diaper, nasa onesie. It's just everywhere. Yung mga pang-height, yung, di ba? Yung nilalagay sa walls, mga decals, everything seems to be a safari animal or something else, basta not local, anything else but local. So I said, at first, sabi ko, maybe I should come up with a line of clothes or a line of merchandise or something. Pero, hindi naman ako designer, you know?
Okay.
And I felt like it was very limiting na parang, you can only choose parang flagship species, tas yun lang yung i-highlight mo. I mean, nothing wrong with that, but I felt, but no, the Philippines is much richer than that.
Sayang yung dami.
Yes. So, sabi ko, magsusulat ako ng storybook. Pero sabi ko, wala, you know, I'd have to research a lot, etc. And then, so, eventually, naisip ko, an alphabet book. And with an alphabet book, you get to hit 28 stones, 28 birds with one stone. Diba?
And plants.
Yeah, 28 birds, animals and plants with one stone. So, doon ko naisip yung alpabeto ng kalikasan. Kasi yung challenge ko sa sarili ko was actually, if I can come up with at least 20 out of the 28 flora and fauna needed, tuloy na natin to. Parang gano'n. Medyo mayabang. Parang gano'n. Parang hindi. Kaya kong, you know, I can do the research. And actually, I still tapped my friends from Haribon Foundation to help me come up with a list also. So,
was it easy to make up the list?
You know, I came up with 20.
Okay.
I still even have the list. I have a picture of the list. I have the list with me. And I came up with 20. And then yung 8, medyo challenging. Yung mga letter X, letter Z, mga, those are the ones that took the longest.
Yes.
Super. But then, yeah, the first 20 were like automatic writing yun for me. But I also consulted with Haribon kasi I wanted it to be balanced. I wanted to make sure there was insects, mammals, birds, fish, you know, lahat. I wanted everything represented. So, and also I wanted to be able to represent something that needed love, you know, something that needed attention. So, for example, for the letter T, you could use tarsier or tindalo or something like that, right? But we chose tamaraw kasi really yeah, so mga ganon. So we paid attention to what really needed more attention the most. So, yun.
Actually, hindi lang kids yung magbe-benefit eh. Kasi nung binabrowse ko yung book, Zanclus. Ngayon ko lang yung narinig.
Well, Zanclus, because nga it was a challenge to find a representative for every letter of the alphabet, right? I mean, because of the nature of our language.
Yes.
It's not really a function, it's not a matter of kulang kasi yung biodiversity. Hindi, sobra-sobra. Pero because of our language, diba? And the fact that the Filipino alphabet is now the normal Latin alphabet plus Anya and NG, the challenge was really to find a representative for a letter that wasn't commonly used in the Philippines. So for like letter Z, it's Zanclus. It's the scientific name of the Moorish idol, which is known locally as Alibangbang.
Oh.
Yes, and Alibangbang is actually Bisaya for butterfly. But the
Oh.
Xanklus is lumped with butterfly fish, although it's not a butterfly fish. But please believe me when I say that all of the entries in the book have been verified by wildlife biologists. So
Okay.
confirmed siya as local knowledge also.
Mhm. So, tell me naman, paano mo tinap yung artist to do the illustration?
Okay, so nagkataon naman, kaibigan ko siya. um, we were office mates before at the television network, and he would post his works. And I would always be, ay, tuwan-tuwa naman ako dun sa mga works na pinapadala niya.
Okay.
So, yun, I asked, hey, Jay, do you have time? I mean, how would you like to take on this project? So yun, so he was so, and it's so, hindi ko alam to when I asked him, ha? He happened to be a children's book collector. What do you know?
Oh.
Diba, nagkataon. Oo, talaga. I mean, you know, the universe conspires really to make things
Yes.
happen. You know, I really, really believe that.
Me too.
Yeah, so Jay Javier is the wonderful artist behind the art of Alpabeto ng Kalikasan. You can follow him on IG. Yeah, I'll give you the details.
Okay.
Yeah, he has an IG page where he posts his artwork and everything. So every time he would submit, so I would give him a peg picture for the specific species
Okay.
that we were gonna represent, for example. And then every time he would have an illustration, I would have Haribon look at it. Kasi we want it to be anatomically correct.
Tama. Okay.
You know, kasi we don't, I mean, I'm the first nanay na magni-nitpick. Alam mo yon? Kasi, well, I don't know, it's because I'm sort of a nerd that way, or because, you know, I mean, if you're gonna represent something, represent it correctly. Diba?
Tama.
So, oo, so ganon. So, that's how we worked, no? With, when all the artwork was complete, we would submit it to Haribon, and wildlife biologists would make comments. And then we would implement the comments, and ganon.
May part na ano, parang a quick guide to baybayin.
Ah, yes. Okay.
Kaninong
Good
idea?
Ako pa rin. Well, I mean, you know, overall the concept was mine, but of course I needed a lot of help. I needed a village to complete the book, no? So,
Yes.
so because nga we have a co-working space, we had a group that would use us as a venue for their workshops. And they would do workshops on how to write by buy-in. And so,
Okay.
you know, so they were regulars kasi they would hold a session every month. So naging friends na kami. So nag-sit in ako sa isang session. And I loved it kasi actually in high school, we took it up also. We took by buy-in in high school. But at that time, we learned it as alibata. And it was fun kasi parang you learn how to write. And you know how people now are like fond of learning Korean or Japanese? Ito, sariling atin. So I loved it na parang you can write your name in a pre-colonial script, you know. And so when I was attending the workshop, parang sabi ko, ting, what if we include baybayin in the alphabet, in the Alpabeto ng Kalikasan? Because not only do I want children or everyone to know about Philippine biodiversity at an early age, but I wanted people to know that, you know, the Philippines had a pre-colonial script, mayaman ang ating kultura prior to colonization. You know what I mean? So if you notice, the way it's implemented on the book, it's more like an artwork.
Yes.
It's not very in your face, you know?
I agree.
So it was clear to me that this is primarily an alphabet book for younger children. So I want them to at least, you know, be familiar with how it looks, right? Hindi tulad ng mga mas matatanda ngayon, for example, when they see the book, ano yan? Diba? Parang, oy, meron pala tayong ganyan. Parang I don't... Diba? Madaming older generations natin na parang we're not even aware there was such a thing. And I think just the knowledge that we had this whole culture before civilization, before colonization rather, parang gives you a sense of pride, di ba? In
Tama.
being Filipino. So parang isa din yun sa mga objectives ng book na para malaman mo, uy, wow, ang yaman ng Pilipinas. Proud ako maging Pilipino.
Tama.
Parang gano'n. So yun. So tamang-tama when I pitched the idea to Dustin and Elaine, yung
Yes.
mga pangalan na nakikita nyo dyan sa book, they were like, game. Kasi they were like, hey, no one's done that. No one has done that sort of project yet. Let's do it. Let's be the first. Parang ganon. So it was, a big part of being able to do this project is being, getting the support, really. It's so important to have cheerleaders who believe in your project. Kasi it can be daunting, ha? Na parang, the costs, the work that needs to be done. And then the fact that, we were about to go into print when the ECQ happened.
Oh.
Yes. So parang
mas mahirap.
To a certain degree. Parang medyo blessing na din siya na naantala ang launch kasi mas natutukan namin yung ibang mga detalye na ay dapat pala ganito. Ay ito i-tweak natin. Parang ganon. So we were able to implement some tweaks that made the book better for lack of a word, no? And then parang it was well received also because everyone was locked up at home.
Tama.
Diba? Homeschooling. Parang, so you needed a material. So actually, I'm happy to share with you that our first print, naubos agad.
Wow! Congratulations! Ang saya.
Thank you. We launched in August.
Okay.
And by October, we printed na the second batch. Well, it's Christmas, right? And everyone is home. And parang, books are really, because you cannot travel, you travel through your books.
Yeah.
Diba? The kids cannot go out to parks or to zoos or whatever. So at least show them a book,
Tama.
And so yun, so each book, it costs $349.
Okay.
So you can order through our website.
Okay.
www.alpabetonengkalikasan.com. But, we have to follow SOPs. It takes 5 to 7 days to get it. But if you live near Makati or something, just come over to O2 Space. But tell me first. You can message our Facebook page or you can message us through our website to say that, to expect you so that we know, because my stocks are here at the office. So, or if you're willing to pay a little bit more for Grab or whatever, because you need it now, just message us. Oo, kasi that's one of the issues that some of our buyers had. Na parang, 5 to 7 days ba talaga? Oo if you go through the website, but kailangan mo na ba talaga ngayon? Sige, I'll grab it na lang to you. So, pwede pang pirmahan. So,
Pero my next question is, paano, kunyari ako, I have relatives in Sydney. I have a cousin there na mayroon siyang anak, so syempre half-half na, half Australian, half Filipino, na gusto niyang turuan ng kultura. So when she visits, dinadala namin sa, what's that in Quezon? Villa Escudero, ganyan, para lang maramdaman ng kid. So kung gusto niya mag-order nito, so, kasi gusto niyang turuan yung anak niya, available ba siya sa labas ng bansa?
Okay, so we do have some resellers who ship from, we have one reseller who ships from the Philippines worldwide.
Okay.
This is pumplepie.com. The advantage with her is she carries all Filipino titles.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So maraming siyang titles. So Alpabeto ng Kalikasan is just one of the titles that she carries. But she has a great collection of all Filipino books. Or we also have a reseller in Singapore. So she has a website also, givingisocial.com. So if you're in Singapore or Malaysia or Indonesia, it would be cheaper also.
Okay.
But the best news I'd love to share with you is
What?
we will soon be available on Amazon.com.
Oh, mas madali na talaga. Okay.
Yes. So anywhere that Amazon is available, you can avail of the book.
Mhm.
We're just in the review stage right now with Amazon. So we're just waiting for the approval. And hopefully before the end of the year. Um,
Sana.
I know, right? Kasi perfect for gift giving. And really,
Tama.
another audience that we were thinking of for the book is mga third culture kids,
Mhm.
right? Or yung mga
Tama.
migrants who
Tama.
left the Philippines as children
Yes.
or born abroad, na looking for identity, looking for something that, links them to home.
Mhm.
So that's another audience that we'd like to reach also.
Tama. So kanina, nabanggit ka about Christmas. So kayo as a family, how do you intend to celebrate Christmas in the year of the pandemic?
Right now, what's important, I feel, no? I mean, in terms of physical closeness, I will stick to my nuclear family. Because, sabi nga nila, parang I'm a big believer in, let's not see each other now para
Yes.
kumpleto pa tayo next year.
Tama.
'Di ba?
Mhm.
Um, I feel it's not worth it to risk eh. Parang it's
Tama.
just one night. And, there are so many other ways to celebrate. I mean, the fact that we have, come on, Tina, I'm in Makati, you're in QC, and we
Yeah.
can do this. And parang,
Tama.
yes, it's different, but it's still something. It's not nothing, And in fact, this pandemic, actually, my sister is in the US.
Mhm.
And well, everyone else is here in the Philippines. But you know what? Prior to this pandemic, we had never seen each other as often as we have now.
Yes.
Diba? I mean, I'm sure it's the same with you guys, na parang
Mm-mm.
mas masipag kayo, magkamustahan.
Tama. Mhm.
Diba? So, for me, we're staying home for sure for
Mhm.
the holidays. Because, yeah, it's not worth it. It's not worth it.
Anya, any last words para sa mga nanonood sa atin?
Okay, so I hope you find the time to go to our website and like our Facebook and scroll through. And if you like it, hope you can buy our book. Here it is, Alpabeto ng Kalikasan. It's only 349 pesos per copy. And really, when it's a good time to bond with your child as you read through the alphabet, kasi malamang marami din kayong matututunan from that, kasi marami kayong hindi pa alam siguro tungkol sa Pilipinas. And hopefully, when you learn more about the Philippines and how rich our biodiversity is and how rich our culture is, mas gusto nyo siyang protektahan. So, what really, one of my hopes for the book, na yung kalalabasan niya is, sana magkaroon ng sense of affinity to Philippine flora and fauna para gusto mo siyang protektahan. And in that way, mas conscious ka sa mga ginagawa mo. Like, instead of buying a bottle of mineral water, sana may baon ka na lang. 'Di ba? Or pag yung time na may school na yung mga bata, parang yung baon nila hindi na lang yung madaming packaging. Parang pwede namang like my son, no, yung baon niya is usually meron siyang plastic container and you put the
Yes.
sandwich there. Parang kasi madaming things get really busy and it's really for convenience. But what I'm hoping that people will start thinking of is, convenience versus conservation. Parang ano ba yung mas matimbang, 'di ba? Gusto natin, kaya natin gustong lumaki ng healthy ang ating mga anak kasi gusto natin meron pa silang mundo na babalikan na, with trees, with water, with, so yeah, so yun yung hope ko na sana mas conscious lang tayo mambuhay with how we eat, what we buy, what we consume, what we do. So, those are my final words.
Merry Christmas, Anya. Advance Merry
Christmas, Tina.
Christmas. It was
Thank
nice
you so
talking to you.
Super. Thank you so much for having me.